mystery of mermaids and marine spirits, ancient myths, real-life encounters, and biblical references. Mermaids have captivated human imagination for centuries, appearing in folklore as mystical creatures with a human upper body and a fish-like tail. While many view them as myth, some cultures, both ancient and modern, believe mermaids are real, possibly even spiritual beings. These fascinating creatures are not only found in stories but also referenced in religious texts, including the Bible and the Book of Enoch. In this video, we'll dive into the enigmatic history of mermaids, tracing reports of sightings and tales from ancient times to the present. I'll explore documented accounts, including references to mermaids in the Bible, and unravel the mystery surrounding their existence. If you're unfamiliar with the mention of mermaids in biblical texts, I'll offer a brief yet insightful overview of what is said about these elusive beings. Prepare for a journey through time to uncover the truth behind the legend of mermaids. Mesopotamian Mythology. In ancient Mesopotamian mythology, the god Dagon was a prominent figure in the pantheon, and his appearance is often described similarly to that of a merman, the male counterpart of a mermaid. Dagon was also mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, where he was revered as the chief deity of the Philistines, a people who lived in Canaan from around 1200 to 600 BCE. Biblical texts, such as those found in Joshua, Judges, and Samuel, tell of Dagon being worshipped in temples located in cities like Gaza and Ashdod. His depiction often includes a fish-like lower body, much like a classic merman, leading some to wonder if Dagon himself could be classified as one. While his appearance seems to fit the merman archetype, understanding whether Dagon truly aligns with these mythical sea creatures requires delving into the history of mermaid and merman sightings throughout different cultures. By exploring these accounts, we can gain a clearer picture of what these legendary beings might represent in both myth and religion. Mermaid sightings. Many mermaid sightings are fleeting glimpses of distant creatures, such as when Christopher Columbus reported seeing mermaids off the coast of Haiti. However, some encounters are more detailed and involve multiple witnesses who aren't hallucinating sailors. One notable case occurred in 1603 near Pendy, off the coast of Wales. A farmer named Thomas Rold was the first to spot the mermaid and quickly gathered others to observe the creature. The group watched the mermaid for an astonishing 3 hours. William Saunders, also from Pendy, spoke with Rold and the other witnesses and found their story convincing enough that an illustration was created to depict the event. The mermaid was described as having the form of a monstrous fish, but from the waist up, she appeared as a woman. This sighting remains one of the more detailed and well-documented historical accounts of mermaids. The next story is about mermen, the male version of mermaids. In a 13th century Norwegian manuscript, mermen were portrayed as frightening sea creatures. The manuscript describes them as tall, enormous beings that emerged straight out of the water. They had shoulders like a man but lacked hands. Interestingly, no one had ever gotten close enough to figure out whether their body was covered in fish scales or had human-like skin. These monstrous beings were also seen as omens of disaster. Whenever the merman appeared, it was believed that a storm would soon follow. This eerie association with bad weather made the creature not only mysterious, but also feared by sailors and coastal communities alike. African mythology. Some interesting myths in Africa may also shed more light on mermaids and their significance in ancient beliefs, including why they were revered in the Bible. In African folklore, mermaids are called Mami Watas, known as powerful water spirits worshipped across West, Central, and Southern Africa, as well as in the Afro-American diaspora. Mami Wata spirits are often depicted as female, though male versions exist too. Their hair varies in texture, ranging from straight to curly or woolly black, typically styled straight back. Scholars suggest that the name Mami Wata comes from Pidgin English, meaning mother of water, reflecting her role as the goddess of water. The African believe this deity can bring forth fertility, healing, and protection over the waters. In Zimbabwe, a dam construction project took a mysterious turn when workers began reporting sightings of strange creatures in the water. These beings were described as pale-skinned, with dark hair and fishtails, resembling humans from the waist up. The workers, known to be tough and experienced, became so frightened that many abandoned the job, refusing to continue. The tension escalated when these creatures reportedly began attacking workers, and there were even chilling claims that some men were pulled into the water and never seen again. The initial team reported these encounters to their superiors, leading to the hiring of a new group of non-local workers, unfamiliar with the area's lore. However, the new crew experienced similar encounters and soon left the project in fear. Faced with repeated setbacks, the project leaders turned to the local tribal communities for guidance. The locals believed that these creatures were water spirits, sometimes referred to as ancestral guardians of the waters, who were angered by the disruption to their domain. In many African cultures, the spiritual and natural worlds are closely connected, and disturbing the balance of nature without acknowledging these spirits is believed to invite misfortune. To address the situation, tribal elders suggested performing a traditional ritual to seek the spirits' permission and appease them. The ritual was designed to honor and respect the creatures, asking for safe passage to complete the construction. This approach, rooted in local beliefs and traditions, highlights the respect given to these myths in many African cultures. Mami Wata is known for taking her followers, or unsuspecting individuals, to her underwater spiritual realm while they are swimming or fishing. Those who return often emerge with dry clothes and a newfound spiritual awareness. This may shed light on why the Philistines worshipped Dagon in the Bible, as mermaids and similar water spirits like Mami Wata are said to possess supernatural abilities. Even today, Mami Wata remains a prominent figure in African spiritual practices. Her worship involves intense, rhythmic dancing, often accompanied by traditional musical instruments like African guitars and harmonicas. During these rituals, followers dance themselves into a trance-like state, at which point Mami Wata is believed to possess the individual and communicate through them. However, as seen in incidents like the reported attacks on dam workers in Zimbabwe, these water spirits may not always be as benevolent as their followers hope. This duality between protector and punisher reflects a complex view of these beings in local beliefs, where Mami Wata embodies both the nurturing and unpredictable power of the water. Mermaid of Morotai. Rain Mellart once dismissed mermaids as mere fairy tales, never imagining he'd encounter something of the like. While stationed on Morotai Island in Indonesia with the US Navy, Mellart witnessed a group of local fishermen pulling something mysterious and unsettling from the water. Drawn by the commotion, he approached them, expecting to find an ordinary catch like a large fish or a shark. At first, he assumed the writhing mass in the net was a thrashing shark, struggling to break free. But as he continued to watch, the creature began to shapeshift, seeming human at one moment and then resembling a shark around 7 feet in length the next. Deeply perplexed, Mellart questioned the fishermen about what they had caught. To his surprise, they casually replied, "We catch mermaid again." Shocked by their response, Mellart took a closer look at the creature and was startled by its human-like features. Convinced it was too human to be anything else, he urged the fishermen to release it. However, they refused, calmly explaining that they wouldn't directly kill the creature, but that it would inevitably die on its own. In horror, Mellart watched as the fishermen dragged the creature further onto the shore, ensuring it was hopelessly entangled in the net. The entity, which Mellart later dubbed a fish woman, struggled desperately against its captors for nearly half an hour before collapsing in exhaustion and weeping like a child. For Mellart, the scene was no different from murder. Overcome with a mix of dread and disbelief, he rushed to the local mission to seek help. Yet, when he returned to the beach, the fish woman had already succumbed, just as the fisherman had predicted. The experience left Mellart deeply shaken. Mellart's detailed observations of the entity revealed a creature with a striking mix of human and aquatic features. He described its lower half as resembling that of a dolphin, complete with a double fin at the tail's end. However, from the navel upward, the creature's torso appeared almost entirely human, bearing an uncanny similarity to an ordinary person. Unlike the enchanting mermaids of fairy tales, this being's features were far from beautiful. Mellart noted that its face had a coarse appearance, with a long, pointed nose that contributed to its unusual look. Its skin, however, was described as a captivating shade of pinkish red, unlike anything he had ever seen before. One of the more intriguing details Mellart shared was that the creature's body was covered with a layer of thick hair, extending down to its fish-like tail. This, combined with its other features, set it apart from the idealized image of a mermaid in popular culture. Local villagers informed Mellart that these creatures, which he called fish women, lived in large groups, or schools, in the surrounding waters. They were said to be incredibly wary of humans, diving to great depths whenever boats approached, vanishing into the ocean before they could be captured. Interestingly, the locals claimed that at night these creatures would pull themselves onto the beach using their hands. According to Mellart's notes, these hands were quite unusual, with 4 fingers and 2 thumbs, giving them an almost alien quality. Despite their eerie presence, The islanders had grown so accustomed to these beings that they regarded them as just another part of their marine environment. The locals saw no mystique in these fish women and hunted them much like any other sea creature. Greek and Roman mythology. Sirens are well-known figures in Greek and Roman mythology, often depicted as half-woman, half-bird creatures who lived on an island and lured sailors to their doom with enchanting songs. However, the Book of Enoch offers a very different interpretation. In this ancient text, sirens are described as once human women who were cursed by God for their involvement in creating demons alongside the fallen angels, referred to as the Watchers. In the Book of Enoch, chapter 19, verse 2 states, "And the women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens." This shifts the image of sirens from the traditional half-bird creatures to something more akin to mermaids, often regarded as malevolent beings. Interestingly, this portrayal aligns with older mermaid legends, which predate the classical Greek sirens by nearly 1,000 years. These sirens, as described in the Book of Enoch, are also known for singing haunting, hypnotic songs that draw people to their deaths in the dark, dangerous waters. This depiction suggests that sirens were not envisioned as part bird in these traditions, but more like mermaid-like creatures. Given that modern sightings and legends of mermaid-like beings continue, it's plausible that the transformation of these women into creatures of the sea, as described in the Book of Enoch, aligns more closely with ongoing reports. This interpretation blurs the lines between ancient mythology and later folklore, suggesting a deeper connection between sirens and mermaids in both historical beliefs and mythical narratives. Marine spirits. Physical evidence for mermaids is limited, relying mostly on anecdotal accounts. This scarcity leads some to believe that these beings might be spiritual entities, similar to the beliefs held in African traditions. In this view, mermaids are often discussed alongside other supernatural creatures. Within Western culture, these entities are referred to as marine spirits, emphasizing their mystical connection to water. Marine spirits are mentioned in the Bible, where the term marine can be translated to water, indicating that marine spirits are essentially water spirits. One such spirit is Leviathan, often referred to as the king over all the children of pride. Before exploring Leviathan in greater depth, it's crucial to understand what marine spirits are. In biblical accounts, the legion of demons that Jesus cast out from the man in the tombs are identified as marine spirits, evidenced by their actions causing a herd of pigs to rush into the sea. Contrary to African beliefs that often view water spirits like Mami Wata as peaceful or protective entities, the Bible presents marine spirits as demonic, or at least demonic in nature. In African traditions, Mami Watas are considered spiritual beings rather than physical creatures, similar to the depiction of marine spirits in Christian theology. This perspective aligns with the story in the Book of Enoch, which tells of women cursed to become sirens after mating with interdimensional beings, producing offspring that were also interdimensional. This suggests that these women, now transformed, exist between the physical and spiritual realms, implying that they too might be marine spirits. If mermaids are indeed spiritual rather than physical entities, it explains their ability to appear and vanish at will due to their supernatural qualities. This could clarify why various cultures throughout history, and even today, have revered mermaids as divine or mystical beings. Their elusive and mysterious qualities may have fueled beliefs in their divinity, but the reverence for marine spirits might be more closely tied to their supernatural and deceptive characteristics. The Bible warns that the devil and his associates are masters of deception, often convincing people of their benevolence, which is far from the truth. Leviathan, the most significant marine spirit, is known as the ruler of the children of pride, a representation of arrogance and self-glorification. One prevalent belief about marine spirits is that they can grant wealth and success to those who serve them. However, in return for this prosperity, followers are expected to pledge their loyalty and service to these spirits. This pact or spiritual contract reveals the deceptive allure of marine spirits, enticing individuals with promises of wealth and power, while hiding their darker intentions. Leviathan is not just a symbolic representation of a marine spirit, but it is also described in the Bible as a real living creature. The scriptures indicate that the Lord will eventually defeat Leviathan. In Isaiah 27:01, it is written, "In that day, the Lord with his severe sword, great and strong, will punish Leviathan the fleeing serpent, Leviathan that twisted serpent, and he will slay the reptile that is in the sea." Additionally, Psalm 74:14 states, You broke the heads of Leviathan in pieces and gave him as food to the people inhabiting the wilderness. These verses imply that Leviathan was not just a metaphor, but a tangible creature, while its spirit is often understood as a demonic force. The spirit of Leviathan is commonly associated with demonic influence, similar to how the offspring of the fallen angels and human women were believed to have become demons after being destroyed in the Great Flood. Some interpretations suggest that the spirit of Leviathan manifests traits such as pride, stubbornness, and rebellion against God. The portrayal of marine spirits and mermaids in Western culture highlights the intricate connection between gender roles, power, and societal perceptions. While mermaids and sirens are typically female figures associated with beauty and danger, symbolizing the seductive and potentially destructive nature of feminine allure, male marine spirits, like Leviathan, embody dominance and authority, reflecting traditional views of male power and strength. This gender distinction often ties female figures to themes of temptation and mystical unpredictability, while male figures are linked to pride and control. That not only demonstrates how societies have grappled with notions of power, control, and the spiritual connection between humans and nature, but also invites reflection on how these narratives continue to shape contemporary views on gender and authority. Otru, whether these beings are called marine spirits, mermaids, sirens, or Mami Watas, one thing is clear: they are a captivating topic that blends mythology, religion, and the supernatural. Their portrayal across cultures and religions reflect humanity's enduring fascination with the unknown and the powerful forces believed to dwell within the waters. If you find these subjects intriguing, please hit the like button below and subscribe for more thought-provoking discussions.